said people don't. He reminded me of a promise with streets of gold. Can I get a witness looking for redemption? Better gather them saints of old.
You're listening to WePG Radio, produced with the partnership of Reach Across America Radio with the mission to remember the fallen, honor those who have served, and teach future generations the value of freedom created by the men and women who have served our country. Currently playing on WePG Radio.
I need to drown in holy water
Wimmer,
to save my
Redemption.
soul. Saw my answers in the bottom of the bottle with my friends Jose and Jack. Left this town many years ago and I never even looked back. Preacher said his daddy left him when he was only 3. Then he pulled out a crumpled up Polaroid. It was a picture of me.
Left your left, hey. Left right, your left. You got it.
Trucker.
Tom Cruise, roll out. You're watching or listening to We Got Your 6 and 6 Patriot Playtime. We the people, the People's Patriot Project.
For a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and ideas, or want to help continue the mission, you have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we are the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be a part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. Here's the WeP3 team bringing you today's best heroes hits in the boots on the ground organizations that are saving lives. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left your left, hey. Left right, your left. You got it.
Trucker.
You got it.
Hey, good evening. It's Andrea Eichmann here with the People's Patriot Project. And hey, welcome to our 233rd episode. Wow. That's once a week. I don't know what if we count twice a week, and then the odds and ends. We're rolling. We got some good episodes going on. I'd like to welcome you to our We Got Your 6 at 6 show right now. Every week we bring you a guest, and a lot of times we bring you a new artist, and then we share all the good and sometimes the not so good things that are happening in our world. This week we've got guests AJ Richards and Billy Ray Wheaton with music. Hang on, guys. This is going to be a good one. At the moment, we are sad to hear about the passing of former President Jimmy Carter. In his days, he created a national energy policy that included conservation, price control, and new technology. He successfully pursued the Camp David Accords, the Panama Canal treaties, and the second round of strategic arms limitations talks. Those are just a few. We would like to take a moment of silence to reflect on Jimmy's great accomplishments. Thank you for that. And thank you, President Jimmy Carter. Tonight, our sponsors include Derek Iozio with Catch 22, Operation Texas Strong, and oh my gosh, they just highlighted, I don't know what camper number they're on, but keep rolling, Operation Texas Strong. We've got the Boho Hobos Hideaway with Lauren Iozio, and then our very own Kimmer Gwinner. She'll be sharing some words later. We also have Brian Kenzer. He's with us, and he supports WP3 with his business called Smart Living Today. This is about American-made products and has a stream to help support the People's Patriot Project while you shop. Reach out to our sponsor, Brian, to discuss getting on the right side of your health, supporting American families, jobs, and the economy, and supporting our WP3 mission. I am going to just pop a little link to his website if you'd like more information on that. The People's Patriot Project, We Got Your 6 at 6, can also be heard on Reads Across America Radio on Sunday evenings at 10 p.m. Central Time. You can find Reads Across America Radio on the iHeart Radio app, the Odyssey app, and the TuneIn app. Just search the word Wreath, and then you can go straight to Reads Across America Radio if you prefer. You guys, we have so many friends that are on and have joined with Reads Across America Radio in the recent 6 months, I think. 6 to 9 months. Anyway, good stuff. Thanks to all of you. Like Jeff Pierce, we'd like to thank you for having us along for the ride. Thanking our sponsors, our guests, and our viewers. But before we start this week's show, we are going to ask that you take off your hats, stand and cover your heart, and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Woo-hoo! Look at that stuff.
Here we roll. Let's go. Let's grow. How exciting. How was everyone's Christmas?
Awesome.
Yeah, I got to say, I don't have any complaints. You know, I enjoy the holidays quite a bit. You know, it's not when the struggle's not there anyways, you know. So we had a good one this year. It was fun.
What was the best thing you got to eat in the last week? Billy Ray.
So we made our usually New Year's tradition. We do a surf and turf. So we do filet mignons and filet mignon and crab legs and stuff like that for that dinner. But because we're going to a friend's house, we did that Christmas Day. So we kind of splurged and indulged, and it was good. You know, homemade mashed potatoes, homemade mac and cheese with some fillets and crab legs, and went bougie with it for Christmas Day. So yeah.
Outstanding.
Nice.
Awesome.
Miss Eichmann.
Wow. I'm gonna give some. I don't even remember Christmas. It's like a week ago, but creds to my daughter-in-law. I'm staying in Bismarck because they live here, not because of any other reason, because it's cold and slippery. But she just whipped up this chicken and potatoes dinner tonight. That was amazing. I don't know how I'm gonna go with that because it's recent and it's fresh and it was really good.
AJ.
Down here at Tucson, met with some friends, had some dinner, and they served up some fresh tamales. Handmade, homemade fresh tamales. Nothing like it when it comes from the heritage and the background that they have.
I want to get back to tamales. We'll get back to tamales. I'm pretty sure one of our listeners is going to throw in, what about tacos here pretty soon?
Tacos are coming.
Tacos are coming. Miss Kimmer, what about you? The best thing you've eaten in the last week?
Well, it's been pretty traditional around here. Christmas, we had a smoked ham that was pretty decent, and we've just been munching on it. We did go to Red Lobster one night and feasted, but yeah, it's just been pretty traditional.
Yeah, outstanding. I'm a food snob, and I spend a lot of time around food. I wasn't happy. Trying to get control of maybe I don't know if I overeat. Maybe I do overeat a little bit, but I have a large frame, and I wasn't happy with what the scale said this morning because I've had, that scene in Santa Claus with Tim Allen where he's on the scale and it just goes up while he's standing. I think that's what was happening. I think somehow I might have become Santa Claus, and they're trying to pump me up for next year. That's what I'm just gonna say. Sheesh. I don't know. I'm excited and we're making Chopino for New Year's Eve, and that's a seafood stew thing that I love, and I know I haven't eaten it yet, but I had it a couple weeks ago, and I am excited to have it again. So that's where I'm going to go. I know there's too many sweets around my house, and I'm not necessarily a sweets eating fan, but they got to get out of the house somehow, and I don't know that I'm using the proper method of getting it out of the house, but it's getting out of the house. So, hey, we're here. This is it. This is our last episode for the 2024 year. It is December 29th, and you are here for the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. Miss Eichmann, you already shared a little bit of what's in the news. What else we got?
Right, just hang on. I'm just laughing at Jeremy's comment. Did you see it?
Not yet.
Right here. Did you have a Tommy Boy moment? Just get stuck right here. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jeremy, that's one of my favorite movies ever. All right, you guys, let's do this. We're at the end of December. December is known as the month of giving. It revolves around people making a difference in society by helping others. You've got 2 1/3 days left. Let's do this. Giving should not be done expecting anything in return. Giving to others has a therapeutic effect. Based on the needs of the person you are giving to, you can actually save someone's life, give a child to Christmas, even provide food or shelter for a family. That's funny because that sounds like a little bit of what the People's Patriot Project does and has done and will continue to do. So keep that in mind as you're giving. Donating and giving to charities you can trust can create a positive cycle and lead to the betterment of several individuals or families in the process. Can I take a moment since we're at the end of December? This is not in the script, but there's Derek. Hello, Derek, and the WP3 family. Listen, here at the People's Patriot Project, that's what we do. That's not what Jonathan wrote that from. It's not from our website or anything or our business plan, but that's what we do. And then we collaborate with other groups. And first of all, we try to vet that whoever we're working with is truly in need, has truly served the country or their community, has not gone to all the other charities in the community, unless needingly so. And then if we can't figure out their problem alone, we have so many other groups in our network, professional, nonprofit, for-profit, all of them that are there to help everyone. I mean, okay, so anyway, there's my commercial. Call on us if you need anything. Those of you that have served your country and or your communities, you're first in line at our table. January 1 is New Year's Day. Many people will make resolutions going into the new year. Most of those will fall short after a few weeks. Did they say like 32 days or something or less? The word resolution means a firm decision to do or not to do something. This year, make your resolution a firm decision to not do something, like give up on your goals. If you can dream it, you can do it, according to Walt Disney. Make those goals a reality in 2025. And then January 2nd, the world's biggest drop your resolution day, is also Motivation and Inspiration Day. A bill was passed in 2001, making this day official in the United States. It is a day to honor loss, appreciate life, and acknowledge the importance of motivation and inspiration in our lives. It arrives at the perfect time of the year to reflect, plan, and set goals. On January 2nd, listen to some motivational music, some podcasts, some speeches, set plans, and then find the determination to follow through with those goals you have made. And there you have this week's news.
Thank you. Lots of stuff. Mr. Whedon, do you do a New Year's resolution?
I'm not much of a New Year's resolution, so I like to plan and make goals and everything as far as career wise, family stuff like that. But I'm not a big New Year, new me kind of guy. I'm just the same as I try to always be. So yeah.
Miss Eichmann, do you do New Year's resolutions?
I don't really know. I think goals is the right word. I try to continue to make good decisions, but that's not really a resolution. That's more like a promise to myself. Yeah.
Sure. AJ, how about you?
I agree with these guys. Setting goals throughout the year is a constant. And so I think when New Year's comes around, if I'm setting goals, it's because that was just part of my plan anyway.
Fair enough. Miss Kimmer, how about you?
No, I don't. I play by the seat of my pants. What comes, and I deal with it.
Yep, I get it. Yeah. I struggle with resolutions only in the fact I know a lot of our American culture does a resolution or does I'm going to do this in 2025. I don't think there's anything wrong with setting goals like everybody has said. I do struggle with the thought or concept that you have to wait until the new year. And I don't think anyone actually waits till the new year, but I do think it's a place to start. And so I don't do resolutions as well. There's a long list of stuff I want to get done for 2025. There's a lot of stuff from 2024 that is sliding into 2025. But that is a conversation I like to share with all the men and women that come into the show and have a conversation. And every day is a new day. Every minute's a new minute. And as an educator, it's important to put that message out, and the fact that your restart can start the second you change an attitude, change a behavior, change a thought. And so remember that. Remember that we're here to support anything, anywhere, anyhow. Conversation, if you want to run things by someone with a non-prejudice and a biased opinion, reach out to us at any given point. If you need support of any kind, make sure. Real quick, because we're changing our format, because at the end of the show, you're going to hear a final thought from everybody. In the past, we've thrown this segment at the end of the show, but we're throwing the call to action at the beginning of the show now. Everyone's got a device. Some people do push-ups, 22 push-ups for a recognition piece, and that, you know what? We got people come on and say push-ups don't do anything. Brother, sister, if you want to do push-ups, you do as many or as few as you want. Get on the world, tell people I'm doing this for this reason. Do your thing, man. That's the way it works. Some people ruck march. We ask that you take out a six-pack. We ask you to, on your text thread, type in, I was just thinking about you, and send that, cut, paste, copy, throw it in there, not in that order, and send it to 6 different people on your contact list. We are all relational. And we have brothers and sisters that are sitting there. If you think someone might have a struggle in their life, might need a little pickup, might need some, just a little quick, just thinking about you. And sorry, not sorry. If that creates conversation, that creates conversation. So please take time to do that. It does and will make a difference. We've had several people reach out to us at some point and said, you know what, we've changed people's lives by doing this, and we're going to continue to do it. Good to see you, Mr. Macedo. Boom. Look at our guests. We got Billy Ray Whedon. He's our featured musician for tonight. He is up on WP3 Radio as we speak. And we have Mr. AJ Richards. And we'll start with AJ tonight. AJ, tell us who you are and what your mission is, and tell us a little bit about your service as well.
AJ Richards, currently living in Cody, Wyoming. I was born in Utah, raised in southern Utah. Lived 12 years in Phoenix after I got home from my deployment. Found our way down here to Phoenix, where we're currently for Christmas. And then life just ended up putting us in Cody. Life put us there because I've been working on a project. When COVID hit in 2020, we started seeing the breakdown of our food supply chain. I had this vision to create something like Airbnb, but for local food. And these would be family farms, homesteads, ranches, anybody growing food. They could build a store and make it available to their local community. So been working on that since April of 2020. It's been a lot of work, and we launched successfully the beginning of this year, March of 2024, after 3.5 years of research and development. During that time, I ran a USDA slaughterhouse in Cody, Wyoming. That's how I ended up there. And if you would have told me that in 2020, that was part of my journey, I would have quit right then. Running a slaughterhouse was nowhere on my radar. But the power and the grace of God put me where I was supposed to be, and to learn what I needed to learn to do what I do. So my military service was all National Guard time. I served with the Utah Army National Guard. We deployed to Ramadi, Iraq in 2005, was there for a year, 2005 to 2006. Was a unique and interesting experience because of the Guard. I deployed with people I knew my entire life. I was even deployed with my biological brother. We were both on the same base. That presents interesting dynamics. My commander at one point was also my high school wrestling coach. So it's a unique service to be in, and then to go to combat with these men and be so close to everybody from a lifetime of relationship was interesting. And then I went back as a contractor for a very short time in 2010. But I finished out my military service. I went from Army National Guard to Air National Guard when I moved to Phoenix, went to the 161st Refueling Wing, and went to Security Forces School with them. Did that for 2 years, so 10 years total by the time I left the military.
Outstanding, and thank you for your service. Hang in there for a minute. I mean, for most people, and I may or may not have said this once or twice, but we have this little graduated from there in 1989. Did start my service with the Minnesota Army National Guard back in the day, and we were the gun bunnies out in that space. So it's it's a little connection there. And the pre-show we were doing a little name drop in here or there. And I am just intrigued to know who, where, what, why, how at some point. We won't do that in the show, but Andrea made a comment during the beginning of this show, and she said, is Peterson going to tear a Band-Aid off? I am not going to tear a Band-Aid off, but I'm just going to say we do have a reason to celebrate a little bit in this space, and maybe we'll get that to another time. I'm changing a stance that I took for a long time. I don't know why I made the change, but maybe winning is the reason.
How warm did it get in Minnesota? How warm did you get down there today? Is it warm enough?
In Minnesota? I don't know that I made it outside at all.
I thought maybe it was melting your icy heart a little bit.
Maybe it was. Maybe it did. Let's celebrate, Crystal. I agree. Yeah. Mr. Whedon, tell us who you are, other than the fact that we know that you're Billy Ray Wheaton. Tell us who you are, tell us about your service, and tell us about your mission in life right now.
Okay, mission in life. Well, that's going to be a more difficult one to assign. But yeah, I'm Billy Ray Wheaton. I'm a singer-songwriter out of Plant City, Florida. Served 22 years in the Air Force, retired in 2022. It doesn't feel like it's been almost 3 years, but I mean, it does and it doesn't. But yeah, I retired out of Okinawa. Moved back to my hometown in Plant City, Florida. I had started, writing songs and doing some songwriter, just individual writing before I had retired from the Air Force, and just was kind of building on that a little bit. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with it, or if I was even good at it. So when I moved back to Florida, started going around and seeing that there was a pretty good little music scene around here, and I've just been. I do open mics. I do a lot of the songwriter circles around here. I was able to do an interview on St. Pete Radio 2 weeks ago, which was another cool first experience like this one. This is the first for me. I've never done a podcast before, so just figuring this all out as I go. But as far as any kind of mission, I really just want to be able to get my music out there. I love, songwriting as a therapy for me. It was really great whenever I was transitioning out of the service. You have plenty of stuff that you have to unpack, and finding an outlet for it was really key for me. So I just I enjoy it. I try to help people out as far as that goes. If you're looking for an outlet, you don't have to be great at it to be good at it. You can just do you, and you don't have to write songs for anybody else except for yourself. And that's kind of the way I kind of try to approach this stuff. Yeah. So
outstanding. And let's roll one of your songs right now. What are you going to go with?
Yeah. So me playing, I'm going to do the Rusty Anchor, if that works. Got the guitar in there pretty good?
Perfect.
All right. Unfortunately, I can't hear in my headphones, so I'm gonna have to crack one open. But this one's called the Rusty Anchor. This is about a motel that I have never been to in St. Pete, and it just looked like a place I didn't want to end up. So I wrote a little story about it, and here we go. That old Rusty Anchor had a room they were waiting. When I got through my dance with Satan, till I got right and I came to the Lord. She told me to be my room and board. Just another dead weight sleeping at rock bottom, cheap flat rates and some empty bottles. Jesus saves and the devil's grace easy. Get your application for some cheap and sleazy, fast living on the highway to hell. Studio room, Rusty Anchor move to. I could probably get right if I really wanted. Life's got a way to kick you in the nuts, don't it? And all my ghosts are hanging out with my demons, but I'm just the host here to entertain them. Just another dead weight sleeping at rock bottom, cheap flat rates and some empty bottles. Jesus saves and the devil's credit's easy. Get your application for some cheap and sleazy. Fast living on the highway to hell. Studio room, rusty anchor motel. I wanna go, but the devil's got her hooks in me. Turning up my soul high efficiency. Jesus saves and the devil's credit's easy. Get your application for some cheap and sleazy. Fast living on a highway to hell. Studio room, rusty anchor motel. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Billy Ray Wheaton, Rusty Acre. Oh my goodness.
Cool, man. I appreciate that.
I'm excited. Do you have that laid down anywhere?
I'm in the process of getting that one recorded right now. So my recording studio is me and a good friend of mine in his little recording room, and we just get together and try and crank some of these out whenever we get a chance. But yeah, balling on a budget, you know what I mean? Studio time's expensive, so.
Well, I sat and I listened to the other songs that you sent us, the stuff we have on We Pre3 Radio, and I am excited to get that up there as well. And if you like what you're hearing, make sure you get it. Share the news, man. Share these amazing talents that our brothers and sisters have. Absolutely, I don't know, man. That made me sit back and just kind of roll with the vibe, man. It was I loved it.
Well, good, man. I appreciate it. My inspirations, I don't really have any like real mainstream inspirations. I love blues. I love blues music as a genre, so I while I don't take necessarily like things of, I love like Muddy Waters and stuff like that, and that style of blues. And then I listen to a lot of country music. I listen to I love some Tyler Childers, and I love Sturgill Simpson, and I love that kind of, the way they mix a little bit. They still keep a real traditional feel, but they've got some bluesy stuff. They've got some country stuff, so I just, I like that kind of artist, and I always love the singer-songwriter stuff, man. I like to hear other people's stories, and that's more my inspiration than anything else, is going to hear other people's songs that haven't hit the radio waves yet. So yeah.
Well, a lot to come. Thank you. Amazing talent, amazing gift, and we appreciate having you here.
Thank you.
AJ, tell us about From the Farm.
From the Farm, the reason it exists is because of the current state of our food supply chain and the loss of our family farms and ranches across the nation. We're at less than 1.8 million family farms and ranches across the country, feeding the population of 2024 America. Now, of course, they're not feeding the population. We import far more than we should. Last year, America became a net importer of food for the first time in history. And so this is a wake-up call. COVID was a wake-up call. Things happened, showed the weakness of our supply chain, and it's not sustainable for where we're at. What we need to do is go back to encouraging families to be running small farms of mixed diversity of species and crops, and supporting their local communities as much as possible versus a few massive conglomerates that control everything. So From the Farm is an attempt to not change the marketplace that exists. Frankly, we need that. but to create an alternative to let people choose. They can come to From the Farm and buy direct from the farmer and rancher, and we can start building our diversity of farmers back up again, having a number of them across the nation. If we just stop the loss of them currently, we only stop and sustain a broken system. It doesn't work right now. So we can't just stop the loss of the farms. We have to find a path to bring more people back into agriculture. Fortunately for us as Americans, one of the fastest growing movements in the nation is homesteading. There are millions of people trying to find a way to get out of the cities and get on a small piece of ground and raise some of their own food, which will inevitably come with excess that they can then put down into the mainstream pipeline of food for America. So From the Farm was born out of a necessity, one that most people don't realize. They can sense something's wrong, but unless you really dive in and understand the whole system and how it sits, we don't recognize that we are on the precipice of famine. There are so many things that could go wrong because our food system is so complex that if any one of those things went wrong, could be absolute disaster or famine within days. So we need to stay vigilant and work on that.
Well, and I think an example, and again, I don't understand. I'm not smart enough to understand these pieces, but I think, a few years ago we dealt with the chicken and the egg issue where something happened someplace. I mean, here in Minnesota, they shut down one of the largest pork producers in the country, and there was a fear of that. And I am afraid of, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not going to sit here and worry about it on a daily, but what I do know what's sustainable is like the family farm concept. What I do know is sustainable is if in your local area and space, you go to your local farmer, and there's some of these farms that are doing it where you can just walk up to the refrigerator and they've got eggs, you pay kind of on an honor system and such, but you've got this all set up online. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Because in order to build a system, we got to understand human behavior, and we've all been trained a certain way, which is convenience, right? We can go to the grocery store and get everything we want in one location, make it easy, pack it up, and take it home. So in order to make change on a large scale, you have to meet people where they're at as much as possible. And one of the blessings of my life is I grew up with generational farmers and ranchers, but I wasn't one. My mom married a guy from the city who didn't ranch, so I grew up cattle drives and brandings. I grew up close enough to it to fully understand what they were dealing with. But I lived in Phoenix for 12 years as well, which meant I also understood the urban side, people living in the cities and their disconnect from the rural communities. So From the Farm is designed to bridge the gap, just to make it easy, right? There's so many people. The Make America Healthy Again movement is the right message for where we're at, but that's going to create a lot of confusion in the early stages. People are going to say, okay, you're telling me the stuff I'm eating is killing me, but what do I do? Where do I go? Those systems aren't in place yet, and From the Farm is that system. If you hear that and you're starting to wonder, you can go to fromthefarm.org and connect directly with farmers and ranchers all across America. And we've got 56 producers across the country that are live selling on there right now. There's another 250 or so at some level of sign up. So people will go on there now, and there won't be anybody close by, but 5 years down the road, if this becomes the primary place to sell and source food, you can go on there and hopefully find somebody within the same county at the least. So we're just simplifying that direct connection so that farmers and ranchers can spend their focused time doing what they enjoy and what we need them to do, which is growing food, and not so much time trying to market and find and connect with the customer. That's where they needed the most help. I know this because I started selling beef direct from my family's ranch in 2019. And so From the Farm I built it because this was what I needed to be successful, and what would have helped us the most. And so we built it out of necessity.
It's kind of exciting stuff. And I mean, we have some collaboration opportunities, and by no means do we know everything. That's another piece. And We've kind of muddied the waters when it comes to information and information overload. And hence the confusion you said is going to happen if we try to just rip this Band-Aid off and run into that. But we'll plant some seeds later and see. And you've thought of all this stuff already. So, and again, other people who are listening, be part of the mission, be part of the conversation. We got a gigantic cusp of people listening and watching right now. So if comment, let us know where you're at. Let us know who you are, and thanks for being here. Patriot Pride.
Yeah.
Miss Kimmer, you got a little something for us tonight?
Excuse me, I do. Let me get a drink real fast. Apologize, a little dry tonight. It's called Frozen, Christmas Eve. Here I am forever frozen in time, in my head, in a space that's no longer mine. You think it'd be easy to leave, but it's not. This is where my battles are fought. I struggle to stay sober and substance free, but why? You see, it's only for me. These episodes I can't always shake, but I fight so I don't break. Yes, it feels harder with each passing day, but getting through them, I may need help, so please stay. See, at times I think I want to die by my own hand, to commit suicide. These are real struggles for me. I know how hard it may be for you to believe that it doesn't mean that I'm weak. To be pain-free is what I seek. I spend most of my time all alone. In flashbacks, I smell his cologne. I can feel him forcing his way. It's all too real as I begin to gag, leaving me frozen but in real time, in my head, in a space that's no longer mine. I'm not afraid of ghosts, just my past. But for how many more years will this last? I don't see it ending while I'm alive. This is why at times I want to say goodbye. He isn't the only one that prowls in my head. There are others that have made me bled. But in this moment, it's him that causes my holidays to feel so grim. It's the anniversary of one of his rapes, leaving me frozen in a time where I can't escape.
Always put into silence when you speak and write, Miss Kimmer. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity.
That's a tough. Your poem got me in a spot where I'm just like, what do we do next?
It's always hard to have something heavy like that. So I write a couple of sad songs and everything that are very weighted. Like Miss Kimmer just read to us, and it's really hard to come back from it and figure out where you're coming from. So yeah, I'll shut up and good luck with that.
Yeah. We got many people putting it in here. Miss Kimmer has a number of books out where she shares and spills her thoughts, her theories, her life, her survival. Miss Kimmer is a survival. She's a survivor. We love having you here. Thanks, Miss Kimmer.
Thank you.
Mr. Whedon, what are you working on right now?
I'm working on getting my mute button to work better, but
fair enough.
There we go. No, I'm constantly writing. I'm forever writing new stuff. My favorite song is the one that I'm gonna start writing. It's never the ones that I finished or that I'm in the middle of doing. It's always the ones that are coming up. But near future, I am planning on releasing a 3 to 5 song. I guess we'll call it an album. It's going to be mostly bluesy stuff. Songs like The Rusty Anchor. I've got a few more that I'm going to add on there as well. But around 3 to 5 songs. Hopefully I'll have that done by about February. and I have that out there, and I'll send you those as well once I get those up. And then other than that, as far as immediate goals out in the out in the world and live performance and stuff, I really plan on leaning into that more this year, because I haven't done a whole lot. I mainly just do open mics and some songwriter circles and stuff in the local area, but I'm really looking to do some more solo gigs or maybe a few duo gigs in the local area, the Tampa, St. Pete, Plant City, Brooksville, just my local area. I'm not trying to go a long ways with it, but I just want to get out in my local area and have fun with it. So yeah.
Well, share a little bit about your experience. You were just recently down at Camp Southern Ground. We have many connections through not. We don't know Camp Southern Ground. We know that it's for the most part put on by the Zach Brown Band crew and those guys. We also know the other organization, which we're going to let you share. And we haven't had them on our show yet. We do want to get them on here, but it's weird. We didn't plan this, but the last bunches of weeks and the future bunches of weeks happened to be a bunch of the men that were down there with you at Camp Southern Ground. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I told you this earlier. Every time I think about the Warrior Song program that they put on over there at Camp Southern Ground, like an inevitable smile comes across my face, man. It was a fantastic week. So it's a program that allows or where they allow songwriters and musicians to come down. You have to be a performing songwriter, and you have to be a veteran or dependent, or they'll take active duty as well, applicants. But basically, they put on a clinic for us that it's hard for me to explain it. They bring label executives, they bring publishers, they bring people who are well-versed in the business behind music, well-versed in the science behind music. And then they just bring like some really cool, sound people, like Grammy-winning sound engineers and producers and stuff like that are they're really just like you guys are. They just want to come in and help. They're trying to impart their knowledge or whatever resources they can onto us, and it was really just a lot of that, which was fantastic. And then the camaraderie part of it that you kind of you think is over, you lose a bit of that, and then you do one of these events over here at Camp Southern Ground, and I'm certain that there's plenty other organizations that are out there, doing, if not this, something similar. But the camaraderie was great, man. Getting 13 to 15 songwriters, like-minded, similar background people in the same place at the same time, and there's literally nothing to do except make music, talk about music, play music, and it was just a phenomenal experience, man. I loved every second of it. I can't shout them out enough. If you are a veteran and you are a songwriter or you are in music, reach out to those folks. I'm certain that you've had quite a few other folks on here that can give you a testimony or whatever for that program. But it was great, man. I enjoyed every second of it, and I've made some pretty lasting connections so far. As far as just meeting and networking with folks through that program. So it's been great. It's what got me onto this on this podcast with you guys. So how am I going to complain about that?
Absolutely. I mean, it is the reason why you're here. I saw and I was following Johnny Cole Murdoch, and I actually messaged him while he was down there. I'm like, hey, brother, can you just kind of plant a seed a little bit? And he goes, I'm kind of busy. And I totally get this. I'm zero hurt. He's there doing his job. He goes, reach out to everyone on their Instagram account. And there so I started going through amazing talent. Most of it, almost all of it is on WP3 Radio. Shannon Book, Joey Anderson. We got Billy Way Wheaton last week. We had Chuck Weimer. Joe Allen Christie, saw him at Hero Stock last year. built a relationship with him. Jack Blaze, just the list keeps going and going, and we got more coming. And again, it's not a piece that we're not trying to upstage the amazing mission of this nonprofit that's doing music. We're trying to promote the men and women that are doing this. And I'm excited for you. We know what that experience is like with some of the events that we put on. I'm confident, when you talk about that smile, just the passion and love that you feel after the fact. You got any collabs in the future that you guys have worked on?
Not officially. So there's a couple of folks that I absolutely want to work with, and I think I know me and Joey Anderson had planned on linking back together because he's a Florida boy as well. He's up in St. Augustine in that general area, so we're not that far apart. So I plan on getting with him, and we'll probably have a couple of things working out. And then we had a guitar picker there. His name was James Diller, and he was great, man. He was doing some stuff with the guitar that I'd never seen anybody do, and I get locked in when I see something different that I haven't seen before, and I enjoyed watching him go through this program with us. We're all songwriters, and he's a composer. He doesn't write lyrics. He doesn't sing. He's a guitar man, but he was great. And hopefully I'll have some lyrics in the future that I'll be able to get him to lay down a track or two for me, and we'll do some collaborating on that. So yeah.
Well, it's awesome having you here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you, and we'll pick up your next song.
Yes, sir.
AJ, how do we make your mission successful, and what are you working on now?
Thanks for the question. If people go to the website, even if they don't buy, we're in this phase of we're new software. It's going to be iterating for the rest of its life, getting better, improving. So when people go there and send me a message on social media about something that didn't work or some idea that would maybe make it simpler, or if they go there and they shop as if they're looking for their family, telling us what makes it more convenient and simpler to use is amazing feedback. We have a campaign, a crowdfunding campaign right now, and we call it the Feed the People, Buy the People campaign, because that's what this whole project is. The whole project is us focusing on doing the best we can to serve our farmers and ranchers by creating a platform that gives them a seat at the table. And then from there, that will trickle down and support the consumers that need to rely on these local producers for food. So this whole thing, we can't outspend the existing food system. They've got billions of dollars, right? Big Food and Big Pharma are the same people. So we, the people, have to be the ones to choose something different. And so we've kind of just opened this up and said, here's what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're doing it. Come and help make this work for us, the people, because this is what's necessary to get us into a better food system. So people just getting on and just testing it and letting us know what they liked and didn't like is enough. If they buy on from the farm, that's obviously helpful. We really appreciate customers. And then this crowdfunding, we just crossed $255,000 raised by 260 investors across the nation. It's an SEC regulated investment, so they'll get a return on that. But to have 260 people help us raise that much money is amazing. Our biggest goal is to not ever risk putting this in the hands of like venture capital or something that doesn't see it for its value of the mission, which is the farmers and ranchers, and not extracting from them. And so to try to raise money to build something so such a big aggressive project, it really does help when people pitch in and get behind us. We're going to have to raise millions and millions of dollars to genuinely do what Airbnb did. But the further down the road we can get by growing this thing with people supporting it, knowing what we're doing, gives us more negotiating power at the table when it is time to go raise, a whole bunch of money at one time. So we've just had, God has blessed us on this journey from day one. The amount of people behind this and supporting it. We had 30,000 people on an email list before we even launched saying, yes, we want this new system. So having that kind of support has been phenomenal.
There's a fellow Kodiite right there chiming in, Miss Lori Romick.
That's awesome. I saw your Heart Mountain screen coming in, and that is the view from my backyard, or from my front yard, is that view of Heart Mountain.
You know, you're going to get me talking about that, but whenever I see Heart Mountain from the Cody side, because you see Heart Mountain from Powell side, it's meh.
Yeah.
I know that I'm home when I come through the passway there, and I'm like, that's home. And whenever
That's
I see
awesome.
Cody, whenever I see Heart Mountain, it's just like, little known fact. This may not be so known, but it just, the rocks on the top of the mountain are older than the rocks on the bottom of the mountain because a glacial pulled into Heart Mountain into that space, just so everyone knows. I mean, you got to know.
Yeah.
And if you really want to know, Shoshone is Shoshone for stinking water because it smells like eggs down there at the old Shoshone hot tub down there. So a lot of thermal action down in that area. I don't know. I'm just blowing smoke at this point, but exciting stuff. I love hearing people doing things in that space. This is another level of brain stuff, and it's I don't think people understand what we have done to our society by starting the processes of eating preservatives and preserved foods and foods out of a box. And that's what makes this piece a little bit more exciting for me, only in the fact that it's natural. It is off the hoof. It is it working with produce as well at some point?
Yeah, we already have produce growers on there. Any food grown by farmers or ranchers. Mm-hmm.
Outstanding. And what is a way that they're planning on getting the produce? And if you get, let's say, beef, how does it come packaged? Do you get go get a leg of cow, or how does that come to you?
Yeah, so on the meat side, you can buy individual cuts of meat and they'll show up frozen from the rancher. Most of them won't sell individual cuts. It's really hard to manage that. So they'll sell like a box of assortment or a box of ground beef, or you can buy a quarter, half, or whole. Some of those people will have subscriptions for the smaller boxes, so they just come every week. Some people will buy in bulk. You can save money doing that. You buy a quarter of a beef, half a beef, or a whole beef. A lot of people will buy a whole beef with multiple families, and then they'll disperse it when they receive it. Just makes buying meat cheaper. So the meat all shows up frozen, always ships for 2 day ground or 2 day air. If it's a shipped product, shows up, genuinely it shows up always frozen. Produce is more difficult. This is part of the stuff we're going to have to figure out as we go. Logistics is going to be really challenging, but produce will have to be a lot more local than shipped. It's much harder to ship fresh product than it is frozen product. And so those kinds of things, just like dairy, especially milk that's not, in cheese, that will have to be local. A lot of people are offering raw dairy throughout the country, depending on what state you're in, if it's legal and so forth. But there's a massive movement for raw dairy. That's not going to be much of a shipped item. That'll have to be local as well. So there's a lot of work to do, a lot of growth that needs to happen. But, it's like they say, the best thing would have been to not veer off the path that we were already on prior to World War II, when the families had 40 acres and a cow and were growing food for their community. That would have been the best time. But just like they say, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. If we don't get started today, we're not going to be anywhere closer, 5 years from now. So I wish I had a magic wand and I could snap my fingers and we had it set up and everybody that sold direct was on there and made it all easy, but things don't work that way. So,
well, how I'm going down the rabbit hole. So how do you compete with the Costco that can give you the drop dollar on that? I mean, is there a way to compete with Costco?
No, we're not. That's a good question. that's why I say they have their own sandbox. We're going to play in a different sandbox, and the people that will play in our sandbox, the consumers in our sandbox, know the value of shaking the hand that feeds them, the value of knowing exactly where it came from, and that they can ask the things that matter to them the most. How it was raised. Some people care if it's got antibiotics or hormones, others don't. But knowing and being able to ask that question. So go to Costco, do those things, but there's just a different way to do it for those that care. The other people that care are ones that know that if we don't, the way we've got it currently is not sustainable. And so they're willing to make the change, even if they're not so much worried about the quality of the food in Costco. They recognize if I don't start supporting my local economy and my local producers, they're not going to be here. Over the last 5 years, we lost 20,000 ranchers a year over the last 5 years. Like, we've got to do things for more reasons than just, let me just put it this way. Behaviors need to change to prioritize, because yes, when you buy local meat, it will be more per pound than what you see in Walmart, but there's a lot more intrinsic value to that meat than just the dollar. We've been trained to buy food based on weight, not nutrient density. We need to change our thinking and say, no, I'm going to buy food based off the impact it has on my health, because this body is what's going to carry me through my life, make my brain function, my physical abilities function to provide for my family more. Like, there's so much we need to consider about the health of our bodies, and then put the value towards the food that we see. I promise you, there's a lot of places that money can be cut out that can be put towards your food, which should be. The other thing is learning how to transition. Like, that's something that we learned, and it was kind of an aha moment for us. 90% of our food in our fridge, in our pantry now, is locally sourced. It did not start that way. And in fact, when I used to think about that, it was overwhelming. I'm like, how in the heck am I going to find all these different sources from all these local producers? But really, what people should do is simplify it. Just like you were talking about setting New Year's resolutions. A lot of people say, my New Year's goal is I'm going to have a 6-pack, and you might be 50 pounds overweight. You probably shouldn't set that goal. Your first goal should be, I drink 5 cans of soda a day, I'm going to go to 4. And that's going to be my first goal. Okay, now I'm doing 4 a day. I could really go to just 1 and be cool. If you do those little things first, eventually you're going to have the 6-pack. But we all fail because we say, I'm going for a 6-pack. And as soon as you drink that next can of soda, you start rationalize like, well, I screwed up, I'm done. No, that's not the goal. It's behavior change science, right? Buying our food direct is the same thing. Start with one item in your fridge or your pantry, just one. Learn how to source that regularly so it's super easy, and then go to the next thing. And by the time a year is over, everything in your fridge is going to be locally sourced. And I promise you, if you're a praying person, you sit down at your meal and you thank the hands that prepared it and grew it, there's going to be a way different connection at your mealtime with your family when you see the faces of the families that grew your carrots, grew your potatoes, grew your beef, provided the milk. It's a way different connection to your food, to being a human, to the people that grow it. That's where we need to go.
It is. I sit here and I'm thinking, and I'm spoiled. I'll be honest. I'm super spoiled. I buy meat from one of my former college football teammates, and he lives up the road about an hour, and I get a half a beef, and it is, the taste is night and day. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like it's romantic in a sense.
Yeah.
It is. I'm telling you, folks, the meat you're buying off the counter at Walmart and Costco and these places, they are being pumped with other stuff to keep the meat preserved and presentable, because you can't have that kind of cut of the meat without it graying sitting there that long. And so they pump nitrogen into the meat to keep it pink and red. And it just tastes different. And if you don't believe me, this is what I'll go buy a rib roast. And I know that's an expensive buy, but take and cut the rib roast and take the center of that rib roast and taste that versus a steak that's just already cut. You're going to taste the natural flavors of that meat because it can't pump that nitrogen into that part of the meat. It's meant to preserve the outside. Take and get a natural cut or a natural, I don't even know how to say it, from the farm, off the hoof, get that piece of meat, and it is night and day. And pork is out of this world when you get it off the. I mean, we do pig roast all the time just for the sake of doing it for veterans, and I mean that's I cook the pig so I can eat more of the pig. That's what I do. That's,
Smart.
Smokehouse or the cooker's privilege. That's that's you stick close to the animal and you get to eat more. That's the way it works. What you're doing is exciting. And I am hoping that it catches traction. And again, we're going to hear more from you here in a second, but we're going to listen to another song from Mr. Wheaton here. What are we going to roll with now, brother?
So this next song I'm doing is called We're the Only Ones Dancing. I wrote this one about a little bit too much PDA in a Publix in Plant City between me and my wife. None of the stuff that is in the song in reality happened, except for there's a fella that was walking by us, and when we were just whatever, being in love, like in a grocery store, and he said, "Why don't you two just get a room?" Because we were hugging. It's not like we were doing anything crazy, but
your wife makes you say that, right?
Yeah. She does. I say a lot of weird stuff when I'm up on stage in the bars, so I try to tone it down. But yeah, so that's what this one's about, and it's called We're the Only Ones Dancing. The guitar back up. You guys hear me all right?
Gotcha.
Okay. We could be on a date at this grocery store, or a touch or a sly glance wants to turn into more. And I hear people whisper, and I see them stare. Well, I'd say they're just jealous, too busy to care. Caught up in a moment too soon. The old man down the aisle saying, "Y'all get a room." And my heart is racing, and I'm short of breath, and I feel the temptation of your lips on my neck. So baby, ignite that tinder, we'll burn it down. We'll cause a stir in this sleepy old town. When you let your hips and my hands take the lead, we're blurring the lines between wants and needs. Sometimes a risk, well, that's something worth chancing. So baby, drown out the crowds. We're the only ones dancing. When you let your hips and my hands take the lead, we're blurring the lines between wants and needs.
Sometimes a risk, that's something worth chancing. So baby, drown out the crowds. We're the only ones dancing. So baby, drown out the crowds. We're the only ones dancing. Yeah.
Well, really one's dancing. Because I'm a guy, I'm going to let the ladies comment because I got to save face.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to be in that song?
So it's one of the first love songs I tried to write, where I focus primarily on the singing instead of the guitar playing and stuff like that. So it's just it's a little bit of a different tune for me than I usually play or write, and just a fan of that song. So yeah.
What do you want to do with your music, brother?
It's a solid question. What do I want to do with it? In all honesty, man, I just want to keep making it and enjoying it, and hope maybe I can create a fan base along the way. I go back and forth on this in my own little brain space where I have to talk myself out of getting discouraged about it and all these other things, because I write songs in my little bubble, and sometimes I think my songs are good, and sometimes I think my songs are crap or whatever. But getting your stuff promoted and out there for hopeful fans is not an easy thing to do. So I'm forever trying to, get my stuff out there, find new ways to play. I just like to get better, man. I just, I feel like there's always room for improvement for everything that you're doing. And, baby steps are still steps, and I'm just going to keep going and being me and playing and having fun with it, really. So I don't have any aspirational goals, but I have, tangible, hey, let's work on this. Let's work on getting websites. Let's work on getting merchandise. Let's get all these other little things that will help, push the rest of this stuff in the future. And then all just while trying to write some quality music, man. That's what I like to do.
Does your service come anywhere? Because we haven't heard one yet tonight.
Yeah.
Does your service influence any of the lyric or the stories in your songs?
Yes, and I have quite a few that are influenced, if not by my service directly, like events. I'm a very I don't like grandiose songs. I like small event songs in my like little stories. I like to tell stories about things. So I have one called Freshly Pressed that is an absolute room destroyer of a song. Like it's a great song. I have friends that love that song, but it's about a service member that that dies, and I don't play those out very much, but I mean I have them. I think that it's a perspective that veterans have, that there's a lot of it's a significant void in some music areas that I think, like real heartbreak, real pain and stuff like that you can get from service members and veterans and stuff like that. Some of that background conversation that we have. So yeah, I just sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of whatever I'm feeling that day. I wrote a bunch of songs that I don't play out. Like they'll never go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like you write your therapy songs for yourself, and they're not good, but you belt them out, you get it out, and then you I don't know. I have songs that I did one time, I got it good. I'm like, okay, I never have to play or sing this song again because it's out there and it's just for me. So yeah, most of those songs I don't play out.
Well, Miss Kimberly Myers says, "One step at a time, brother. You got the right perspective." And this is another artist we have on WP3 Radio. an amazing talent. And if you get a chance, check her out. Great story, great mission, great songs. Frank the Myth. It's amazing how many veterans say the same thing about creating a following. There are 1 million veterans. Why are we struggling to create a following? I have a theory on that, brother. I have a theory on that, but
well, you show yours and I'll share mine.
Well, it's we eat our own. That's the problem. We and I don't say we. I mean, I'm saying we because I'm including all those that are out there. But if you're at WeP3, and I'm just going to toot our horn a little bit, all are welcome, and we believe that the collaboration is essential for the mission. That's how we roll. Not everyone wants everyone. It's weird. They want everyone at their table, but they don't want to do the work to have everyone at their table. And when they realize that they're kind of doing it on their own, and people figure out they're doing it on their own, that people turn their back on them. And then we have all these satellite organizations and influencers and people out there that aren't collaboratively working. You got to give a little of yourself to get a little bit of everyone else, and that's the truth. And that's where I'm at. Have a conversation with me. I'm willing to have it if you don't agree with that or be part of that. And we eat our own, and we have this conversation regularly. There are 48,000 influencing organizations helping veterans, and that's not even the first responder side of it. That's just veteran organizations. And you know what? We have 6,000 veterans committing suicide a year. You would think that 56,000 organizations could figure this out, but we're spending more time muddying the water and creating confusion and not giving a precise target for our veterans who are in need of support and help. Sorry. I got more, but it's not about me or WeP3 tonight. Amazing. I like, and don't take offense to this, I'm using the word simpleton, but I think that is kind of your earmark. The greatest part about the last song is you started off in the grocery store. And I think we forget, all of us are in the grocery store at some point. And there is a time where you're close and together, and it's communal in a sense, but it's simple. And the big songs in the world of you go and listen to the Nashville recording artists, they want the big sound and the big push and want, I won't say names. I almost said names. I won't say names. The collaboration with the big name and this and that, and that's great and grand, but we've forgotten the real life experience. And I appreciate your approach to all this, and you even have it in your words. And so thank you, Mr. Wheaton, for your amazing talent. I've been blessed tonight in this conversation. Got to make sure I read my notes here real quick. So, AJ,
Wait.
Bounce, you got a second that you want to say a final thought and get it? Let it roll, brother. It's all yours.
Final thoughts, man. Dropped it on me just like that. There's plenty of hills to die on. Lots of things need to be supported. So look around and find one. There are people at the top that could use your support. Whether it's directly within your community, whether it's something bigger that's facing our nation, or maybe it's only something within your own household. I think what makes our society better is when we all turn and look within our homes, within our own communities, and we start there, right? We clean our own house first. And when we start coming together as families, when we start putting those things back into the priority that they were, I think we start seeing our families, then our communities, then our cities, then our country become better. So find somebody fighting a fight that is worth fighting and support them. Stand shoulder to shoulder and give them that support. You see all these farmers in other countries standing for their right to grow food. It's unfortunate that you don't see them flanked by, thousands of consumers that they're growing that food for. So we need to show up for each other, help them fight the battles they're fighting, and To my veteran brothers and sisters, if you're struggling, find help. We need you. You have skill sets, you have knowledge, you have abilities that are needed in our country to bring us back to where we need to be. So find the support you need, and pull yourself up, and let's get to work.
We appreciate you, AJ. Thank you for coming on tonight. We know you got to dip out of here, and please let us know what we can be doing to help support you and the mission. And let's make the country a better place. It starts in the belly, man. It starts in the belly.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Billy Ray, amazing, brother. One of my favorite hobbies is to find new artists on TikTok and be there as one of the new ones, and then just watch them take off. So, would love to find out how to follow you there, because well done.
Well, thank you. I'm on all the social medias, Billy Ray Wheaton. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you name it. If I can be on it, I try to be. That doesn't mean that I'm exceptionally active or good at it, but I am on all of them.
Awesome.
And I do have some streaming songs out there on all the streaming platforms as well, if anybody wants to listen there. So thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And it was great to meet you.
Yeah. Well done. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, AJ. Nice to meet you.
Wow. Where do we go next? We get to listen to more music is what we do get to do. There's a lot of messages in here. Sorry, got to read some stuff. All right.
Keep talking. Wait,
Yeah.
Billy Ray, were you going to give was that you or AJ that said you would give your, when Mark started, he got all excited about the topic of how to fix veterans.
Oh, yeah. So as far as, so platforms for veteran artists is not an easy code to crack. And it's not, for what I see, it's not necessarily that people out there don't want to support you or that. It's getting found to begin with. When you're on social media, I'm not a big fan of trying to pander to folks. I've never self-promoted well. It's not something that we do an alarmingly great job as a service member or anything like that. You don't self-promote well. You don't talk about yourself. Being boastful isn't a key, thing that you want out of that community. But you need that as a singer and a songwriter and a performer. You absolutely have to have that as a skill set. And I think it's really hard, just to break that code. I mean, I know it is for me. It's very difficult to unlearn, behaviors. I don't know exactly how to break that mold. I've always been a very sheltered, conservative person, and then now I do this thing that completely conflicts with what I've been taught and grown up to be, so it's just it's a difficult position for the individual artists. And then finding the right vehicles at the right time is very difficult, especially without spending money. Money fixes a lot of problems, right? But not having money causes just as many as it fixes, because you get a ton of folks that get stuck in I posted it, but I didn't promote it, so it doesn't go anywhere kind of stuff. So it's really hard to break that pay to play situation as well. So yeah.
Agreed.
That is kind of why we created the levels. And I told you pre-show, we've kind of outgrown our undies a little bit, because that was the whole concept of why we created what we did with the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. We have Operation Cadence as well, which we haven't fully developed, and then we have it is what it is. But there's so much talent and so much out there, and we strongly believe that a lot of our musicians, and I'll say this name, I'll just put this out there and you guys deal with it how you need to, but Miss Taylor Swift has been in the music industry and has been back the entire time. I won't say she hasn't worked. She has worked, but she didn't go serve her country first. She has been in this entertainment industry her entire life. There's been no reins to hold her back. And let's face it, when you're in the military, you don't necessarily make a lot of money doing military service. And so you come out of the military and now you have to find a way to fix that piece that everyone else had the chance to be working on the entire time. And again, I'm not saying this to say it's our anchor or our crux. I'm saying it's life. Yeah. And the other part of this is the second the right ear hears the music will change everything. So that's why we have to have Weepy through radio. That is why we were excited about creating the We Got Your 6 at 6 and having one of our first musicians on here was Tony Turner. And Tony Turner was from Alabama at the time, Navy man, singing Simple Man as a cover. And just the involvement, and I'm not saying it's because of us, I won't say that, but he got to go to Nashville and record some music in Nashville. Now, is he up there with some of the greats? No, he's not. But he got a taste, and his frustration is that taste, the fire can only last so long before you still have to go back to work, and that he's got to do his day job first. And I get it, and
yes, sir.
Lifestyle.
I mean, I have a full-time, like this is my passion. I enjoy doing this, but this doesn't pay the bills. I mean, I have a full-time job. Like, you know, I'm a network engineer for a company that works in St. Pete called Polestar Defense. And this is, you know, I don't want to naysay what I do as a job. You know, I enjoyed it. It pays the bills, and I love that. But it's not my passion. I do that job so I can support my family and pay to be able to do what I love very much. But it's a constant struggle with all that stuff, you know. And you said something earlier that it's 100% true. We, you know, service members, veterans, when you're a musician, your key time frame is, you know, 30 and under. Well, if you have a military career, you're not, I mean, the earliest you're getting out is at 38, and 38 in musician years for the Nashville community, like, you're ancient. You're not, like, how many 38-year-olds do you hear on the radio, on Nashville, any kind of Nashville radio right now? You know, it just doesn't happen. It's not designed for that. That doesn't mean that these folks aren't great musicians and these guys aren't, you know, phenomenal lyricists and songwriters and everything else. It's just that specific platform that everybody focuses a lot of energy on doesn't have a real lane for you anymore. So where are those other lanes? And that's kind of where I spend, you know, a lot of my free time looking for avenues that I can get in and figure out, because I just, you know, I still want to sing my songs and play my music the way I want to play them, and you know, hope people enjoy them. But I don't mind being I don't mind being a tadpole. I don't mind being, you know, new to this in my late 30s, early 40s stuff. I just want to have fun with it. And if something happens with it, fantastic. And if something doesn't happen with it, also fantastic, man. I love writing music. I love playing music, and that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah.
That's a funny conversation. The fact we have a very good and great friend down in Nashville, and we've spent a lot of time with him, and he keeps telling us I'm this age. I'm this years old. And I'm like, no, you're not. And he goes, yeah. He goes, don't let this get out, man, because in Nashville, age is an issue. And he goes, so I tell everyone I'm this. I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to hang that up someday, because no one's gonna believe you're that age forever. Just so you know. And that's Miss Kimmer. You got another one for us? You have to turn that microphone on if you want us to hear you. There we go.
Okay, this one's called Christmas Magic. Christmas is over and Santa made it back safely to the North Pole. As I unwind, I notice a bag of nothing but coal. I just sat down to my favorite Mrs. Claus homemade casserole, but I stood and pondered with a grin on my face while listening to some soft rock and roll. I quietly whispered that this one was for Kimmer. This was her wish because she didn't feel like a winner. But she believed towards the end as she began to shiver. And now with hope, because now with hope in her heart is more than just a shimmer. As she began to forgive, oh, how it felt great in her soul. Living with PTSD has taken its toll. As she trusted in herself and began to take control, as she stepped out of her comfort zone, her cubbyhole, she took a deep breath to calm her nerves. This is something that she deserves. It was a Christmas miracle that I observed. It's a good thing that I keep on the sleigh a bag of reserves. But she's not the only one that I made to switch. There have been many others too who felt life had become a bitch. So with my finger alongside of my nose, I made it twitch, and I left them all a wonderful gift. But it's up to them to choose, and I know some of them may now be confused. But I know these soldiers have paid more than their dues. It's a fully lived life that I want you to pursue. Take it from Santa, this you can do. Y'all have your own healing avenue. I know at times it's hard. I know at times you haven't a clue, but it's waiting there for you to make your debut. I will keep an eye on you throughout the year. That is me and my famous reindeer. Yes, there are times you'll feel the fear, but believe in yourself. The magic will appear. As I sit back down in my easy chair, I want you to address your life's affairs, and I want you to no longer feel despair, because about you, many do care. Merry Christmas to you all. Love, Santa.
Thank you for your amazing gift, Miss Kimmer. We appreciate you.
Dang.
Yeah, she got me with two, like just back to back with them. All right, I like it. I like it.
Hey, don't. I mean, I'm gonna say get her books, but I mean, don't.
Yeah.
You be prepared to what happens when you get her books. So that's a whole nother thing altogether. There's a real life story. Talk about simpleton. She brings real life experience into her message and her words, and that's why we appreciate Miss Kimmer and the mission that she's on in this world with us. So we appreciate you. Thank you, Miss Kimmer.
Thank you.
What is the next? And it doesn't have to be a big thing. What is the next thing for Mr. Wheaton?
So next thing, New Year, same me. I will be doing a lot of studio work in the very near future. I was telling you before the show, I just got some of this kind of ironed out. So I plan on doing an acoustic album here in the near future. So within the next 3 months or so, hopefully I'll have an acoustic album of basically an acoustic catalog of my songs that I'll be able to release on all streaming platforms and everything, so folks can listen to it and at least get a taste for what the songs are before they go into the studio, because songs change when they get in the studio. As soon as you get in there and you start listening to some different drum beats, or a different you hear a different tone on the guitar, or you hear a different tempo a little bit, songs change. So I really liked the idea of doing a full acoustic rendition of all of my songs, and then That way you get two versions. You get the version that I wrote, and then you get the version that we created in the studio, which are the same but slightly different. I just like the idea of that. So near future for me, that's the next steps. And then just getting out there and playing in front of people, man. That's all I want to do. So yeah.
Let's get you out there, brother. Let's get you out. One of our bragging moments is a little over a year ago. We were summoned to Nashville by a young man named Buddy Hyatt. And again, name drop. Warning. Buddy Hyatt used to play for Toto and is now running Hilltop Entertainment Music as a producer at that space. And he likes what we're doing with veterans and first responders. And he goes, come on down. We'll talk. We'll have some conversation. This was also worked through with another gentleman that we worked closely with down there, J. Mark Bailey. And so we went down there, and they're cutting songs. And this, I appreciate you, because not everyone knows the story of production of music. And you do have your original, and it does sound one way. And I'm excited that you want to put that out there for everyone. But once you get to studio, and in this sense, they use, it's called the Nashville score. And so Buddy will go through, he'll score the music, which is not putting notes on a sheet of paper. It's 1 through 9 with dashes, asterisks, commas, and it's a math thing in all honesty. And then we were lucky enough because they have 6 Grammy-winning instrumentalists sitting in the studio, and he walks in with the score, and they lay a song down in a matter of 15 minutes. And, the one set, then they have an engineer that's sitting in the studio who just has to listen to what they say. Oh, I'd like to cut this one place at this measure, this and that, and we'd like to put a little steel guitar in there, twang, boom, they play it again, bumped, it's in, it's done. But it's not the original music. It is the interpretation of that score that creates that music. Now, these guys have been doing it 24/7 for 20 and 30, 40 years, and they know what they're doing, and they do put out a product. I mean, every song is done this way in Nashville, and I'm pretty sure that they do it that same way down in Austin as well. But I appreciate you and your candor in that, because I wish artists would do more of that, to be honest with you, because I'd like to hear not the finish, and let's not throw auto-tune in there, because that's a whole nother monster in itself. Yeah. But I want to hear the raw. Like tonight, the blessing is listening to your raw voice on the guitar playing on there. And again, we don't have major sound systems here fixing stuff. Yeah. And we totally appreciate that. We told Mr. Whedon right off the bat, hey, we got your songs. We can play the videos of them. And he's like, I'd rather play live. And I'm like, I prefer live if the tools are available. Mr. Wheaton had the tools. Not every one of our artists has the tools, because, again, they got to work for a living, and they don't necessarily say, oh, check this out. Check this cat out. Mr. Garcia. Yeah.
There he is.
He's out there on that Texas. He's out there on that Texas radio circuit right now. Oh, wow.
What a beast! What a beast! We met him over at Hero Stock, and have had him on, and a couple times actually, with Winchester Road and his single. So keep up the good work, Joe. We appreciate you. Thanks for stopping in tonight. Well, what do you got for us to close it up, brother?
Okay, so this one's, I don't know, my most popular song, I guess is what I'd call it. It's called What It Means to Be a Man. So I wrote this one, I don't know, a year and a half ago, probably. I mean, it's been a little while now, but I wrote it literally in like 2.5 hours. I got stuck in traffic. So I work in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I live in Plant City. If you've ever been to Florida, to Disney World, or anywhere like that, in Florida, that the I-4 corridor is one of the most miserable places on the planet. And it quite often gets gridlocked and you're just stuck there. So I was stuck in traffic for about 2.5 hours one day. and was writing this song, and came home, was excited about it. You know, hadn't picked up a guitar or done anything with it, literally wrote it in traffic, got home, got the guitar, got my phone out, recorded it, and was like, okay, well, I'm just going to share it. So I shared it on YouTube, and I had like 12 subscribers on YouTube whenever I shared this thing. Like I started a YouTube channel so my grandmother could hear me play covers of songs and stuff like that. So there was a ton of bad content on there. And I give everybody the opportunity to go back and take a look when I say bad content, because I haven't removed a single video from my YouTube channel since I started it. But I shared this, and it ended up getting like 30,000 views on YouTube, and it blew my mind. I didn't understand it. I did not compute. How do I only have 12 followers, and the song initially hit like 18,000, and then now it's at like 30. But it was just a weird phenomenon to me, and I guess I got caught in the algorithm with the Oliver Anthony fella that popped at the same time. You know, I didn't understand it. But anyways, this is the song, and I hope y'all like it. He's got the weight of his world resting on his shoulders. They keep piling on more as he just gets older. And he's changed so much, but he don't see the point. For the ones that he loves, he'll just disappoint. He's trying to tread water, but he's swimming in quicksand. As he comes to grips what it means to be a man. He works hard and provides, keeping food on the table, and he gives his family everything that he's able. But he's still falling short, doing the best that he can. As he comes to grips what it means to be a man. No, they ain't found a limit how much he can take. For the woes and the worries, yeah, they keep him awake. He's tried to explain it, but they don't understand. As he comes to grips what it means to be a man. Well, everything that happens, well, it must be God's will. God's a great listener, but he don't pay the bills. He don't need a miracle, but he'd like to know the plan. As he comes to grips what it means to be a man. No, they ain't found a limit how much he can take. For the woes and the worries, yeah, they keep him awake. And he's trying to explain it, but they don't understand. As he comes to grips what it means to be a man. Yeah, he's trying to explain it, but they don't understand. As he comes to grips what it means to be a man. Yeah.
Yeah. Joey likes it. I love that. I live in a teacher world, and there was a tiny little piece in the back of my brain that was like, this would get people talking, because some people would feel like, oh no, that's offensive. That's, how can it be all about being a man? And I don't care. I love it. Absolutely love it. Because that was what you were thinking. I mean, that's where most of us live. Right?
I can only talk about things that I like to sing and talk and play and do stuff that I know and understand. I don't have a perspective for certain things, right? So why would I try and make up a story when I can just talk about my own stuff? So that's kind of where I try to stay with it. But yeah,
I agree. And I think that is exactly where this bond that we're talking about, and those who have served, sharing and supporting others, that's a huge place where you will find, I think your music will grow and keep growing and keep getting shared, and I'm loving it.
I appreciate it. I love making it. So I hope that, I can get more people to like hearing it. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Very cool. You're muted. Oh my gosh, Peterson. No, your mic went out. Oh, it's sad when it does that. I'm so sorry.
Okay. It is what it is. Technical difficulties happen to the best of us, man.
Right? No, you're testing. Is that
1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, Happy New Year. Don't be crabby. It happens, dude.
Yeah.
Test. There we go.
Got you loud and clear now.
Why is that even an option? That's dumb.
I find it funny. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
I don't know. Super Soda Jerk. Hello from Texas, brother. What I was saying is there's so many, and I don't know if this is offensive to people, but when I say proud papa moments, in the fact that it's a feeling, it's an emotion when we get amazing musicians on here. We got Joel and Christy on here saying, miss you guys. Hopefully 2025 brings us together again. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. And I know that's in relation to meeting with Billy Ray Wheaton down there at Warrior Song. That's the same conversation we had at meeting at Hero Stock. Yes. What about just a big old hoot and boogie event and just get everyone together? I don't know. Everyone's got to have time. I mean, Mr. Whedon's got to work, and that happens, and we'll get it figured out. We have to have a national event that gets everyone in the same place at the same time, and just enjoy the great food. We can get AJ to bring a bunch of food with them. We can cook it up. That's called a barbecue shindig, weepee, boot, scoot, and boogie. And just I don't know, like Billy Ray. The reason why they got pause on my name, how my nickname came around, was because we did a lot of traveling in the first 3 years of the People's Patriot Project, and our not original mission, but our secondary mission came where we were broadcasting and live streaming other organizations' events around the country, and we would love to continue to do that. There just needs to be, more resources and better tools. We showed up at an event in Texas, and we're going to live stream it, and we're in the middle of the park, and we have zero Wi-Fi in that space. So it was hard to do that. But if you have the right amount of money, you can fix that problem. We just don't have a satellite truck and WP3 radio yet, but we'll work on it.
There you go. Just keep the yet in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, we'll get there. But it's just always the breaking of bread and listening to music and building relationships, man. That's I was going to share the story of pause, because I like to get around and get my paws on people, which kind of is a little scary. I mean, I get it if you get into the scary world there, but I'm not a hugger necessarily, but I really enjoy the relationships we built with our brothers and sisters from across the country. And so that's where pause came from.
That's cool, man. I'm a big fan of face-to-face interactions is my favorite thing. I've never been a phenomenal public speaker, and I never planned to be, but I love interacting with people. I love talking to people. I feel like that's where you find commonality for, aggressive 80% of America's problems, right? I think if we could communicate a little bit better on a human level, we'd probably, ease back on some of the issues that we have. But I'm a big fan of face-to-face communications. I love talking to people, and this avenue that I've got right here, the songwriter thing, gives me that opportunity, and I love it. Meeting these songwriters, even just the local stuff in Florida that I'm doing, is a blast. I know this is a veteran related podcast, but in all honesty, like the local songwriter scene in Central Florida is up and coming, and it's really fun as well. Super happy with that, with St. Pete Radio and my friend Sarah Mae Gunn. She's got the songwriter circle here in Plant City, and I frequent that one as much as possible. I like just like-minded folks that are trying to get other people's, stuff out there, giving someone else a platform. And I just love that. Sarah does a great job with it for her stuff. And you guys are doing that here. And I'm just very grateful for folks that are doing that for, little old me. So I appreciate it.
That's not little of you. That's what we do for you. Oh, Frank. Love having Frank around. Frank said something a couple weeks ago about anytime we need him, he'll pop in, and he's here all the time, and we absolutely love it, Frank. And in tune with everything we're doing. I love it. Gosh, it's probably been 9 months ago we had Frank on. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but time goes kind of fast.
Well, we're at that place in time and space where we come together and create the culmination of our final thoughts. We appreciate having Mr. AJ Richards on here with us from thefarm.org and his amazing mission and just trying to bring real food to the table from the real growers of the product. And it's a win-win for everyone. If we can figure this out, it is a win-win. And you live healthier, you live better, and it is a solution to a problem. So thanks, AJ, for being on. Miss Eichmann, you get to start again.
I get to start again. Listen, I was looking at AJ's. He's got like all these fans watching on X. And so I'm trying to figure that out. So anybody out there who's got knowledge on that, I'll probably be calling AJ like, how'd you do this? Because we don't have enough. I don't know if you guys can see the top of our screens, but we've got like 12 places that our show already goes. Then AJ put X on. I'm like, shoot. I had to reopen the X account because it's been so untouched. So there is that. You know what? I was taking some notes. And so I'm so glad AJ was on here to talk about. This is a question I've had, and I'm pretty simple-minded when it comes to these kind of things. But growing up, and I'm far from when I was in my youth, but I've always wondered we're such an amazing country. Why can't we sustain our own? This is something that if I were a leader in this country somewhere, that'd be my number one project would be, we can grow our own food. We can build our own cars, houses, processes, plants, whatever. Because we're just an amazing country. What we can't, we would figure out how to do. I'm not afraid of trading with other countries by any means, but I feel like that should be for the wants, not for the needs, I guess is kind of my thought. And then as I get more into health, he answered so many questions because raising and growing and eating your own, not your own humans, but what you raise and grow is something that I have been working on. and it's not cheap. It's pretty spendy, but I'm going to keep working on it. So this has been a very enlightening show tonight. And then we'll Plant City, first of all, like whoosh, focused in on Billy Ray because I'm kind of a Floridian at heart. I don't know why. I just went there once, fell in love with it, so kept going back. That's what happened to me. And so and I fly in quite often to Tampa or Fort Myers, and St. Pete was just one of those places along the way that Filthy Phil's. We hung out one night. I don't know if it's there anymore. I think I read that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's still open or not either. I don't know if the last couple of hurricanes that we have took out a lot of the cooler venues that we had, some of the older stuff. So yeah, I don't know what's still there and what's not right now.
Yeah, I need to go. That was one of my first trips with a girlfriend, and we giggled because we went like early spring break, and everywhere we went, she was like, we just dropped the median age by like 48 years because it was early. We were still with the winter birds. But it was great because they treated us like we were their kids, and it was fun. But anyway, yeah, Filthy Phil's was a young guy like our age owned it, and he had live music. So I wish I still was in touch with him. But yeah, anyway. And so thank you. I just hearing the behind the scenes of your songs really is, man, because the songs are amazing on their own. And then to hear how they were created or thought up or stuck in traffic and you wrote a song, you went home, put music to it. I mean, that blows my mind because I can hum a tune and that's about it. And I can come up with a lot of words, but putting music behind it is, you will do well. I have a feeling already. People are watching and chiming in, and Frank is here every week, so he'll be sharing this out everywhere as well. He's going to get himself one of those spotacasting. What did he call that? Spotacastify. But thank you, Frank, for being on again, and Billy Ray, thanks for joining us. I hope we see you again soon. In person would be amazing, but we'll take you on here more often until that point.
I had an absolute blast doing this. So yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, I'd be happy to come back whenever, I could throw 3 more songs at you guys, maybe have them a little bit recorded ahead of time and, be a little bit better prepared. Probably not, but I can wishful think.
You did great, man. You did great.
Oh my gosh, we always say the raw is that is great. I will tell you next week, and I'm going to be honest, driving to Bismarck has my brain on fried. So I've not researched Justine Hess, and Javon Farrell Newman will be our guests next weekend on our Sunday show. But you can I'll research before 4:30 tomorrow when we are on with our debrief. When we talk
Billy
about
Ray knows Javon.
Javon's a good. You're going to be happy with that guest. Like,
is Javon's this another one from
Camp
Southern
Javon's got an amazing voice. Yeah, and you can't go wrong. Great voice, great writer. Just in general, a great dude. Was happy to meet him, and yeah, you can't go wrong with him as well. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for filling in that blank for me.
Miss Kimmer, your final thoughts.
I think it was a great show tonight. Very entertaining and knowledgeable. I personally this year tried to buy a half beef from a farmer down the road from me, but I couldn't figure out the cut sheet. So I ended up buying boxes, which were just as good. I mean, my freezer's full. But yeah, it's getting scary out there, and the more that we can do within our communities, the better off I think we'll be. But the music tonight, man, it hit. I loved it. Live is definitely your thing. I mean, I haven't heard anything studio, but live is it for you. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Peterson, are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I am thinking. I'm taking a breath. Mr. Wheaton, final
Yes.
thoughts.
You know, I just want to say thank you. You know, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to come on here. I didn't know what to expect. In all honesty, I watched, you know, a couple of the previous episodes just to get a clue, right? But I didn't know how I was going to interact with, you know, AJ. I'm not a farmer, you know, I'm a country boy, but you know, I'm not what I'm not, right? I don't raise cattle, and I don't hoe rows, you know, it's just not anything that I am. But it was really interesting to hear his point of view on food, and you know, just get to listen to that. And then the whiz up there, given, you know, so I don't want you to think this isn't coming off as a compliment, because it's 100% a compliment for me. I love listening to people that can floor a room, like, and I gotta say, I don't mean this in a negative way. When you bring heavy material and you express it the way you express it, you did a great job tonight. I just want to say thank you. So it was very cool listening to your poems done your way, and I enjoyed that delivery. It was really nice to me. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That is why she is the whiz.
So yeah, I learned that tonight. So it was great.
I'm sitting here, and again, we're on episode. Who can help me out?
233. 233.
And, you know, it's 52 episodes a year. And I can't, again, back to that proud papa moment. And it's not, when you get as many moments as we get, it never grows old. Brian LaRose,
Yeah,
he was down there with you.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole crew's coming in tonight. My goodness.
Well, that was unplanned, but I appreciate the support. You know what I mean?
Check that out, right? It never gets old, and again, it's about the relationships, but again, it's about the growth, and again, it's about the what can happens. And I am just so excited. I'm excited for you, Mr. Wheaton. I'm excited for you, Miss Gwinner. I'm excited for you, Miss Eichmann, and what we will achieve this next year, because of the connection, our drive, our passion, then what we put in for work, what we are willing to do, what the sacrifices we're willing to make. It's the most unselfish thing. And I know that sounds selfish, but it's the most unselfish thing that I've ever experienced. And just getting to present these amazing influencers to the rest of the world. And it's what keeps us going. It's the whole story and the amazing what ifs. And just looking at the number of people who, Andrea's getting mad at me and probably not officially mad, but we're at 2 hours now. Again, the 1 hour show was so long ago. I don't even remember the last time we did a 1 hour show. We just need to promote. We're just a 2 hour show. That's where we're at now, because we get there. How lucky, and again, it is luck, because we at no point ever wanted to do a podcast. Me and Miss Eichmann are school teachers by day, and we build enough content that I really don't want to build any more content. And for us to throw the thought against the wall during COVID that, you know what, we need to have a place for people to come and air their thoughts, their ideas, their passions, and then for it to turn into what it's turned into. We're just absolutely blessed. Selfless, and selfish at the same time. We appreciate everyone, and the numbers just keep climbing. We're at the end of our show, and we have this amount of people still watching. We appreciate you. Remember, we don't get to do this without you. That's our truth. Please go to our YouTube site. We'll get that up here. What is? I am having a moment. I'm having my moment. You don't like YouTube. You
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. Thank you. Gosh, dang it. We appreciate you. Go listen to WP3 Radio because you're going to hear Mr. Wheaton. You're going to hear Mr. Garcia. I know that's not Joe Allen Christie. You're going to hear Shannon Book. You're going to hear Brian LaRose. You're going to hear all these artists on there that have come and graciously given us their time. And we have just been blessed. Thank you, Mr. Wheaton, for being on. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your craft. And I know you don't need to be thanked for that because you're going to do it without it, but we appreciate you. And we have been blessed by you tonight. All of our listeners have been blessed by you tonight, and we appreciate all that you're doing and will do. And for those, come check us out tomorrow at 4:30. That's when you get to hear specifically about what we, the people, the People's Patriot Project, is getting done during our WP3 weekly debrief. The only time I get to sit around the house with no pants on. That's not true. But hey, we appreciate everyone. We thank everyone. And check us out next week. Andrea's already shared the story. We thank you. If you can stay around for a minute, Mr. Wheaton, I appreciate it. Kimmer, you know the role. Andrea, you know the role. Hey, Patriot Project.